Hello and welcome. We are live. Yes, we are live this time. Welcome to the Football Home podcast. Plenty of FA Cup action to talk about, but first, the breaking news from today is that Gareth Bale has announced his retirement from club and international football at the age of 33. He was a great servant for both Tottenham and Real Madrid. It never quite worked out for him at Real Madrid, I don't feel like. He never quite hit the heights that he could have. I think that always happens sometimes when you're the big fish at a small club, and then go to a big club like Real, and you don't always. It doesn't always work out. You do struggle. But yeah, he was a great player in his time. Just trying to see if I can get his record up. He got a record number of caps for the Wales national team, with 101 caps, and he's got a national men's team record goal scoring record as well for Wales with 41. I'm trying to see his club record. I know he was at LAFC last season in the MLS. He's kind of quite sad that he's done that. That he was there. That's the way all the big players go, I guess.
Did he win with LA?
Yeah, he was. I'm not sure. But so he has a record number of caps for Wales men's national team with 111. He has the most goals for Wales, 41. He won 5 Champions League titles at Real Madrid. He scored 106 goals with Real in 258 games and 67 assists. 5 Champions League trophies, 3 La Liga titles, and 1 Copa del Rey. He played for 4 clubs. He played for Southampton, Tottenham, Real Madrid, and LAFC. He was Wales' youngest ever goal scorer at the age of 17. The first Wales player to score 2 international hat tricks. He was a deadly set piece taker, to be fair. From a free kick, he was special. Oh yeah, he has a really, really good record, and he will go down as a really great player. Andreas?
Yeah, I think the story with Bale is really, really interesting because he was and still is a great player in the history of football. But there's just been so many drama around him with like at this point it's basically the biggest meme in all of football that he is more a golf player than he is a football player. And it's just like as funny as it is, and as much as I personally have joked around with all of that, it is kind of sad because he is a football player and he is a very, very great one. So it's kind of sad that a lot of the stories around him is more this kind of joke around what sport he likes more. And I think you are absolutely spot on with Real Madrid that it didn't like he will not go down as one of the biggest players in Real Madrid history. That's not the story. But the story still is that he did a lot for Real Madrid. And as you just mentioned, all the goals that he has scored. So he has been a big part of Real Madrid and been there for a lot of their trophies recently. So no matter if he's not one of the biggest all time, he's still a great player. And what he has done for Spurs, and even more importantly for his national team in Wales, is just amazing. Like he was the man that was able to make Wales do so great in the last couple of years. I don't think Wales would have been able to do so great without him. And he really made Wales a threat, to be honest. So yeah, it's sad and it's sad to see him like he's not young, but compared to other guys in the world right now, he is pretty young when it comes to retiring. So I think that's kind of sad when we have guys like Messi, Modric, Ronaldo almost being 40 and still playing. So I think that's sad. But the reason I asked about with LA is because I like it is part of history that like a lot of those older players go to MLS and finish their career. So it would be great if he had one last season where he actually won the trophy with them. But I don't know if he did that. But I think that would be a great way to finish his career if he won the trophy with them. But yeah, like it's sad because there was so much drama around with him with golf and all this, and it's sad that he still was so young. But no matter what, he was a great player, and I'm going to miss seeing him play.
They
And I
won the MLS Cup.
okay, it's still a trophy, so it's
Yeah.
good enough. But yeah, it's sad, and I honestly feel like he could still have been playing on a pretty big level in European football. But it's the history of it, and I'm sure that he is very happy with his career and all that he has done, especially for Wales. So yeah.
Fair enough, Warren.
Just quickly, I think with him, it's a case of going out while he's got a good like something good to his name still. He doesn't wait till something bad happens. So I think this is just a life decision that he made. Like his road with football has ended as a player. You might see maybe coach one day. Who knows? Maybe he's got other plans in the pipeline. But look at history and what he's done for his country and Premier League and all the other leagues that he's played in. He was a great contributor to the sport in a whole, and you can't take that away from him. So he flourished, and as every player, he had some dips. He had some lows as well. But I think him choosing to step out now, even though it's a shock, and especially with his age, um, it can also be seen as a good thing because it might not like his last outing with Wales wasn't that great. So it might not get better for him. So he might be like, let me quit while I'm ahead and save the good fortune of my name while I still have it, intact. Something to, remember him as a player for, and not, crash and burn, and then, having to be forced to like leave like the sport in general on a bad tone. So I do respect him in that respect, and I do respect him as a player and what he's done for the sport in the span and his journey in this beautiful sport that we all love. So um, I tip my hat off to him and all that he's accomplished.
Fair enough. We will quickly talk. We will go through some of the FA Cup fixtures from the weekend. Some big upsets in the FA Cup third round over the weekend. As we know that there is. Sorry. The FA Cup third round always does produce some magic. We will go back to Friday and talk about the Manchester United Everton game. A pretty comfortable win in the end for United. Marcus Rashford shown, as he always does. He was on fire. He was at the heart of everything United did well. He's just really on fire at the moment. He was putting in crosses left, right, and centre, and he was at the heart of all three goals, I think, really. It was dominant, really. I don't know what David De Gea was doing for the goal, but that was an embarrassing moment that he will want to forget. Warren, your thoughts? I know you
Yeah.
watched.
Yes, I watched the game. I think I always say when United play at Old Trafford, they hold nothing back. And it pains me as a Liverpool supporter to say that, but it's just really nice watching them play. I have to give credit where credit is due. I can't be, poop pants about it. I have to give credit because they're doing well. And like Annie said, Rashford has been such an integral part of this team this season. He's even been better since he came back from the World Cup. So he's just growing in strides, and it's wonderful to watch. Um, Sad that they had to concede the goal, but then Connor Cody messed up again, and then it cancelled each other out. It was a nice game to watch, and yes, United deserved the win. Everton, I don't really think Everton stood a chance. They had some shots and they had some chances, but I mean, really, nobody doubted that United would win this game. And yeah, good for them. And Everton losing out to another domestic title. Not surprised. I don't know what's happening with that team. Like we have the same discussion every week about them, and nothing is changing. It's the same. I don't know. Where's Gordon? Where's Mope? Where's Calvert Lewin? Where's these people? You only see, and it's a big blow for Everton because Alex Iwobi went off on a stretcher. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, and that is a huge loss for Everton because he runs that midfield. So good for United. Not a great night for Everton.
Yeah. Andreas?
Yeah. I think honestly this is probably the best that could happen for Everton. Now they are out of this and they can focus more on Premier League. I think if we just look at this result, that there's not really anything shocking in that. Like if it had happened last season or the season before that, nothing would be shocking about it. United is the bigger team. They should win, and they should probably win comfortable against Everton. But what makes this so much more sad is that Everton is just really, really doing bad right now. And that's what makes this even worse, that Everton already have so many problems. And this is just another example of that. So yeah, Everton, it's really a problem for them, and again, this match alone doesn't really do anything for it, but it's just match after match that they just do bad. And I've said it before, and I'm not confident at all that Lampard will survive. I really think he really is in problem right now. So yeah, Everton, I think maybe this is the best for them. They can focus more on Premier League and hopefully just survive at this point. That's all they should think about. And for United, I think this is really, really good for them. I think this is a trophy that United could very well win, honestly. Also with looking at the fixtures with City and Arsenal, I assume it is next round. The other bigger teams also facing each other. I think United really has some chance of winning this. And yeah, United is just a really, really good team right now. There's no arguing about that. And I think they will get top four, and I can see them winning this trophy as well, which will be really, really great for Ten Hag in his first season. So
especially with like Newcastle being knocked out already as well. And Manchester City versus likely Arsenal in the next round. That's going to be another team out. So
and Liverpool having another match in tournament, which will also cause more problems for them. So yeah, I think United really have some potential to win this.
And they went out with a really strong team, to be fair. They went out with probably the best team.
Yeah.
Bar I think Luke Shaw played centre-back instead of Martinez. But apart from that, you can't really say too much bad about that team. They went out strong. It seems like Ten Hag wants to win it, which is good because I think they're not going to win the league at this point. I don't think so. I mean, they have a small chance, but I think the focus should be on winning a trophy like the Europa League or the FA Cup or Carabao Cup. So, but I do think that they may struggle if they get a couple of injuries, especially if Rashford gets injured. Like they don't have enough depth in the squad, maybe up front, especially. But that's a discussion for another time. Tottenham 1-0 versus Portsmouth. Pretty comfortable win. Not really comfortable. They got the job done. League One side. I would say you expect more from Tottenham, but do we ever really expect anything from Tottenham.
Not anymore.
Harry Kane got a goal to go 1 goal behind Jimmy Greaves' all-time Spurs record. And I think he's only like 5 or 6 goals behind Haaland now in the overall standings for the season, which is kind of crazy. I think Harry Kane's very underrated. I think not enough people give him credit. And I think if he was at a bigger club, he would probably do better. And I think he would get more credit. But he is loyal, to be fair to him. I didn't really get to see much of the game at all. I saw the brief highlights, and Spurs seemed like they were dominating, just couldn't get over the line. Andreas?
Yeah, I didn't see much of it either, but I saw a little bit, and I was surprised. I'm not surprised, but like it wasn't the strongest squad they had, Tottenham, and I think that maybe is a part of the story that it wasn't their best squad. But no matter what, Tottenham should win with more than this. Not to take anything away from Portsmouth, but like Tottenham should win pretty huge. But they didn't, and it's the story of Tottenham right now that it's just so difficult to know what's going to happen with them. Was it last round in Premier League that they won 3-0 and then they go out and barely win this? It's just crazy. But they move on, and that's what it's all about. Like if you win the trophy, it doesn't matter how you win the matches, as long as you win. So yeah, they move on, and that's great for them. And I think also with the conversation about Chelsea being out, Newcastle being out, all of these teams and some of them facing each other, Tottenham is a contender to win it all. I don't think it will happen, but there is a chance of it happening, and that will be great for the team, of course. But I do think United have bigger chances, of course. And yeah, with Kane.
Wrong sport, Brie.
And yeah, with
this is football, Brie, not wrestling.
And yeah, with Kane, I absolutely agree, Harry. I think Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world, and I think he will go down as one of the best ever. I do think he is his reputation is hurt by playing in Spurs, and he will very likely not win any big trophy or anything, and I think that's hurting his career a little bit, which I don't think is fair, because what he has been able to do for Tottenham is crazy. Like getting them to a Champions League final, being a real contender for Premier League as well. Like he of course he's not the only one doing that. I know it's a whole team, but he is a huge part of it. And I would absolutely love Kane in Chelsea, especially right now. And I think a lot of teams.
You're getting your Felix. Is that not enough?
All the players. Like I don't know what's happening in the world.
It's so very greedy.
I saw a comment. I'm sorry, Andreas. I saw a comment just now on Facebook where somebody said Chelsea is literally taking crap and throwing it to the wall and hoping something sticks. It's a bad strategy.
I don't know if Kane is crap, but
I'm not saying I'm just saying like everywhere I see it's a Chelsea's in links with this person, Chelsea's in links with that person. It's like
okay, that's
he would
true.
never go to Chelsea anyway as a Spurs fan. If he was going to go anywhere, it'd be City or Real Madrid or somewhere.
I mean, a few people have changed from Chelsea to Arsenal or Arsenal to Chelsea, so I guess it's possible. But
he's Spurs through and through. So I mean,
yeah, true. But like more crazy stuff has happened. Look at Ronaldo right now in Saudi Arabia. Everything is possible in the world of football. But yeah, it will probably not happen. But I'm just saying that Kane in general could be in almost every team. I don't think if Kane came and said, I'm going to play for you. You don't have to pay me $1 billion or something. Just pay me so I can survive. I don't think anyone will tell him no. Like I think Arsenal will take him. Chelsea will take him. Atletico will take him. Barcelona will take him if they didn't have Lewandowski. I can go on. I'm just saying that Kane is at the absolute top of football. So yeah, and Tottenham is very lucky to have him, and it's the same with Son. Like those two are just a huge part of Tottenham being where they are now. So yeah.
Warren?
Yeah, I agree. Without Kane, Spurs will be toast. I don't even count Son anymore. Honestly, I don't. I think without Kulusevski and Bentancur, that they are suffering a bit, and they got lucky the other night with the 4-0 win. Um, for Portsmouth to hold Tottenham for as long as they did, even though they were dominating, they couldn't finish the job until like the 60th or 50th minute of the game. And that's classic Spurs nowadays. They wait till the second half and then try to kill the game. And they're making it harder for themselves. Looking at how the draw looks for the fourth round, yes, they got a bit lucky because they got another, they're not facing a Premier League team. But this FA Cup has surprised us, and these lower league teams have been stepping it up and showing that, look, we're here to play and we want this. But props to Kane. He's been scoring for Spurs, and he's carrying that team, and then some. So you can't take that away from him. He's a stunning player, and the fact that he's this close to Haaland in the Premier League to the Golden Boot, and the fact that Haaland is blanking, it says a lot. It says a lot that he's able to catch on to that because he's the only player closest to Haaland at this moment. Um, it would be it would be a darn shame if Kane got injured or somebody snatched him up, but I don't think he'll leave Spurs. He's Spurs through and through. He's loyal to the core, and it would take I would fall off my chair that if I saw Kane leaving, Conte would be screwed. So great news for Spurs if they can hold on. Besides United, I think they've got the best shot at winning this FA Cup, but I'm giving United the edge to be honest if it comes to the two of them.
Fair enough. We'll
Can you
move
see
on.
my hand this time, Harry?
Sorry, Andreas.
Yeah, I just want to say I think that's a really interesting conversation with Kane, because clearly he's not going to Arsenal and clearly he's not going to Chelsea. Let's just agree on that. But I'm not so sure that he will not go from Spurs. I could see him going to Bayern maybe. Not City now with Holland, but United could be a possibility as well. I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying it's happening, but I could see Kane going to another big team where he
Yeah,
has
no,
bigger
that can happen. I
chances
can
of
see it.
winning. Because I remember, was it last year, the year before that there was heavy rumors that he wanted to go. It ended up not happening, but I guess that was a sign of him actually thinking about it. So I could see that, but I can also see him staying because he clearly loves Spurs. And he has been there forever. But I will not rule out the possibility of him going to another club where he has a bigger chance of winning something.
Yeah, fair enough. We will move on. Leicester 1-0 Gillingham. Leicester are struggling at the moment, that's for sure. But they got the job done. Not really.
Yeah, what is there to say about it?
Andreas?
If they won, congrats. No, it's the same as with Spurs. Like, they won. Should they win with more? Absolutely, but it's not going that great right now. So that they even won is great for them. But it's difficult. Like, Leicester really are in some problems. And honestly, like, if I was a Leicester fan, I would probably rather want them to be eliminated in this so they could focus more on surviving Premier League. But moving on is always great, and moving on gives you a little bit of chance of winning it all. And if Leicester did that somehow, that would be amazing. I don't see it happening, but it would be great. But yeah, being Leicester is just difficult right now, and it's frustrating because they really looked like they were going the right direction before the World Cup break, and now they have returned, and it's just not going the right direction. So it's frustrating to see, and especially with Leicester being the big club they have been the latest seasons. So yeah, but they won, and that's great. Now they just need to to focus on doing better in Premier League as well.
Warren?
Yeah, nothing to write home about about this game. My question is, where is Gillingham in the league that they are playing in? I'm guessing they at the bottom of the league that they are in. So it's no surprise Leicester won. Um, I mean, they got the job done. So congrats. I wouldn't count them out yet. They're still in the Carabao Cup. They're still in the FA Cup. They're still in the Premier League. Somehow, number 30.
Yeah. So
So they still it's not that they out. These teams are doing worse than them, but for Leicester, I mean, this is Leicester City, and this
yeah.
club is they basically they clawing against like hanging on with all their fingertips, and um you can't like one goal winning games like this. It says a lot about you as a club. So I really wish for them that they really get the act together and get some signings in that's going to help them score more goals, get more aggressive. I hope that Madison gets recovers soon so that that midfield can be stronger. And he takes their free kicks, he takes the penalties, he takes the corners, he does everything for that team. And without that team is struggling. So yes, I'm glad they moved on and they might have a shot at going to the semifinals maybe. I don't foresee them going further, but crazy things have happened.
Also, quickly, Gillingham is last place in League Two, so
There
that's
you
fourth
go.
tier,
There you go.
fourth tier, and they are very likely going to be relegated as the worst team.
So
I
it could
think
be a
that
case,
says
yeah.
it all.
If it could be a case that maybe it was not the fact that Leicester was great, it was the fact that
Exactly.
Gillingham was bad.
Exactly. That is insane. Like League Two, the worst team in League Two, and Leicester can only win with one goal. That it's crazy, and it just says everything you need to know about Leicester. And I think if they had played a championship team, I don't think Leicester would have been there anymore. To be honest.
We'll move on. Southampton caused a minor shock against Palace. I say minor because there's not really much between the two sides. But Southampton have been struggling, and we've said that they are in big trouble this season.
Yeah.
But they managed to beat Palace and get through to the fourth round of the Cup. Andreas?
Yeah, it's they won and that's great, but it doesn't really change much for me with how I look at Southampton. But it is surprising to me. It is because as bad as Palace is, I thought like Palace would be levels ahead of Southampton. But I was wrong in that, and Southampton won, and that is very surprising to me. But it's like it's difficult because they won this match, but like it's one match. It's an FA Cup, and as we talked about last time, we talked about that FA Cup is not quite the same level as it has been in the past. So it's like, how much does it really mean that you're winning this match? Like if this had happened in Premier League, we would all have been like, wow, okay, is Southampton maybe going the right direction? But because it's just FA Cup, it's not quite the same story. But it's still a win, and they move on, and that's great because they still are a Premier League team, and that gives you an advantage against the lower league teams. So yeah, great, and bad for Palace. Like they need to get it together, to be honest. Because they are not out of danger of being relegated yet in Premier League. So they need to get it together. I think they will, but it's not looking the best, to be honest.
Warren?
Yeah. Palace has been disappointing for the last couple of weeks, to be honest. So them losing to Southampton is really a blemish to their name. I don't know Zaha. I mean, has anybody heard of him recently? I don't know. He's not been scoring. And Southampton is still in Carabao Cup. They in the FA Cup, so they're doing things. Maybe the focus is there and not on Premier League because they know. But Premier League is the most important one because if you get relegated, you play Championship. So maybe they should channel this kind of aggression that they had in this game, scoring this velocity, scoring goals, getting the right angles in against a Premier League team, if you will, and channel it into the Premier League games. Because if they can do it in the Carabao Cup and they can do it in the FA Cup, why can't they do it in the
Exactly.
Premier League? And
Yeah,
that is sad because it says a lot about the team. Again, Southampton, Palace, Leicester, they're all in the same, what I would call the same WhatsApp group. Their status in the league is the same. And they're like these one-hit wonders. And but all of a sudden, they're the winner that, next week you expect them, next game you expect, okay, I mean, they won, but I expect them to lose next week in the Premier League. So,
Mm.
I don't know about Palace. They're kind of stagnating right now. And Southampton, they're kind of climbing the domestic tables of the other league cups, but they're not focusing on the Premier League, and that's maybe where their focus should be. But congrats to them, and they're in the fourth round, and Palace should now just focus on the Premier League, I guess, because that's all they've got.
absolutely. James Ward-Prowse got a goal. He's on fire at the moment, and I know we've said before that he needs to be at a bigger club to really do damage. Fulham made 7 changes and got a comfortable win against Hull. Goals from Kazawa and Dan James. Seems like it was pretty comfortable in the end, but it was 1-0 up until the 90th minute. So, I mean, but they got the job done in the end. Maybe a lack of depth in that Fulham squad, but as we know, a lot of what Fulham does comes through Mitrovic, and without him, they're a different side, really. Warren?
Yeah, which is kind of good news for Chelsea for Thursdays.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mitrovic even play. I expected to be a lesser score. I expected 1-0, to be honest. When I saw that he wasn't playing. The fact that they got 2 goals and Dan James got a goal in, I think it was one of his first goals for Fulham. Fulham doesn't surprise me. Fulham has been on fire. They've been firing on all cylinders, and they're just an enjoyable team to watch. Even though sometimes they struggle, you still enjoy watching them play. They've got these creative players, but yeah, maybe there was a bit of lack. And a lot of the managers made these changes this weekend with the FA Cup. I don't know why they do it. They put in younger players that don't normally play, and like maybe it's because, like you guys said, the FA Cup isn't the cup that it used to be in the past, and maybe that's why they consider it a little bit less priority, and now they're not putting their strongest players to the forefront. I don't know why, because always the second-hand keeper that's playing, and it's always not the usual people that's playing. And I understand, the games are coming in thick and fast, and some of these teams they've got midweek features as well, and then again on the weekend. So it's difficult to juggle. So you have to keep your players fresh. They got the job done. 2-0 is still great.
Mm.
And seeing how some of the other Premier League teams struggled, then winning 2-0 against the other team, it's just they're on the right track. Fulham is on the right track, and they just need to continue, keep this momentum going. Winning 2-0 without Mitrovic is a big feather in their cap, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Fulham, that like they win this pretty comfortable. It's a win, and it's not even the strongest squad they have, and that just says so much about Fulham. And Fulham is really a team that has surprised me, probably the team that has surprised me the most this season, because I thought they would be relegated, but they are clearly not going to do that, and have really been surprising. And I think also the story here is that like Hull is a pretty good team. It's a championship team, and we just talked about Leicester barely winning against a League Two team. Here we have Fulham without their strongest squad winning pretty comfortable against the championship team. And is Hull the best championship team? No, but it's still a championship team. They're mid-table, so it's fine for them. And I think that just says so much about Fulham, that they are really, really strong right now. And we have talked about it before. Mitrovic is a huge part of the team, but they still have a really good squad without him. And that's what we see here. So yeah, really good for Fulham, and I think they can be a true threat to win this. Honestly, not my favorites, but I can see them winning. I can easily see them beating Leicester, and I can even see them beating Spurs, as Spurs is right now. So yeah, and that would be insane for Fulham if they move up from Championship to Premier League, and then in their first season back in Premier League, they win the FA Cup. That would be pretty crazy. So yeah, really going good for them right now.
Fair enough. Brighton are in all sorts of good form at the moment as they thumped Championship side Middlesbrough. Alexis McAllister was at the heart of everything Brighton did. A World Cup winner. I think this was like his first game back properly playing, and he was just too good. Warren?
Yeah, Brighton. I'm scared of Brighton. I'm scared of them. Just seeing that, potentially Liverpool is facing Brighton in the fourth round, and they're facing Brighton in the Premier League next. Also, that's just, I don't even want to think about it. But focusing on this game, I know, Harry, you were upset about your prediction that's coming through for this one, but oh my goodness, Brighton is so unstoppable right now. It's different players. Pascal Gross, you've got McAllister back. All these, key players. Ferguson started. It's just a well-oiled machine right now, and I think the new coach really has found his groove of this team. He's made his own little stamp on them now. It's no longer about the Potter way anymore. It's all about Roberto's way, and it's working. It's working for whatever he's doing on the training ground. Like I said last time, whatever they're putting in the water over there that they're drinking on the training ground, keep doing it because it's working for them. They just firing on all cylinders, and not just in this competition, in the Premier League as well. Um, yeah, so 5-1. I think it's one of the biggest scorelines we've seen in this third round. So amazing stuff from Brighton. Middlesbrough just couldn't. They got one goal in, but they just never could get into the game, I feel. And yeah, I would be scared if yes, we should be scared of Brighton. They are a force to be reckoned with.
Andreas?
Yeah, we just talked about Leicester winning against the League Two team and with one goal, and Fulham winning with 2 goals against the mid-table Championship team. Middlesbrough is 5th place in Championship. They can potentially get promoted to Premier League next season because they are up there fighting for that. And Brighton just beat them 5-1. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Brighton is really, really scary. And will they be favorites against a team like Arsenal or City? Probably not. But it's not impossible for them to beat every team in Premier League right now. And I think that just says so much about Brighton. It's at the same level as Newcastle, where they really have a chance against any team. There is not a team where I will say they will easily beat Brighton, because it doesn't exist. And yeah, that's just where they are right now. And it's just crazy how you can go from having such a great manager that really worked for you, then you lose him to another team, and then you get a new manager that works maybe even better than the other one did. It's just crazy. It's really crazy how they are making it work, but it's working. And yeah, everyone should be scared of Brighton right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Championship leaders Burnley beat Bournemouth 4-2, and it was very, very comfortable for Burnley. Bournemouth are in all sorts of trouble at the moment, aren't they, Warren?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said last time, it's like ever since the guy got promoted to the permanent manager, things have been going worse for them. They're not finding the footing in games. Yes, granted, they got 2 goals, which is great. They got 2 goals. Not taking that away from them. Scoring goals is always great. But I think you said that in the last podcast, Burnley is like, they're on top of the championship. They're most likely getting back into the Premier League, and they even in the Premier League they were tough to beat. And they don't even have Pope there anymore, and they're still doing great. Um, I'm not surprised. I did make a bold prediction Bournemouth would win, but I mean it was I think that's gonna happen. But yeah, Burnley thoroughly deserved it. 4 goals. That's crazy. One guy got a brace as well. Good for them. That's just more confidence for them. So should they get promoted back up, that's just it's gonna instill more and more positivity into that squad, and they're through to the fourth round. So yes, and Bournemouth, I don't know. Something might have to happen now in the transfer market in January. Strengthen up the team, get more, attacking force. They're looking very lackluster. They look very lethargic at this moment, and they can't carry on like this because it's not going to get better if they carry on like this. Something needs to change. So I don't know. I might make a rough joke and say maybe they must lose 9-0 again and get that spark back. Um, because after that game they kind of bounced back and got back into the groove of things, but now they're like sloping again. So I'm really worried about them at the moment. They're 16th in the Premier League, I guess. So it's tough times for them.
Yeah, Andreas.
Yeah, Burnley is a really good team. They have scored 52 goals in championship and conceded 25 in 26 games. So they are really strong, and they will absolutely get promoted. I don't know if they're winning the league. Sheffield is pretty close to them, but no one is going to get above those two. So yeah, they're getting promoted very likely. And yeah, Burnley is a really strong team, and I think the fact that Bournemouth could even score 2 goals, I think that's pretty good job by Bournemouth. But yeah, Burnley is really strong, and they deserve to move on. Um, um, Offensively really strong as well. And like even with a team like Bournemouth that's not doing the greatest right now, it's still impressive that Burnley can score 4 goals against the Premier League team. So yeah, really great by them. Um, and yeah, with Bournemouth, it's just not working. And no matter how great Burnley are, Bournemouth should win this match. They should be the better team. They are playing Premier League, but it's just going really bad for them right now. And I'm surprised about it because I thought they were doing really well, and now it's just going really bad. So yeah, I'm worried for them, and they really need to be worried as well because they can potentially still get relegated.
Yeah.
So yeah, they need to get it together. But Burnley deserves this, and I'm excited to see more of Burnley in the FA Cup and also in Premier League next season.
Fair enough. We will move on. Blackpool from League One beat Nottingham Forest very comfortably. It was too easy at times for Blackpool to get through. It was a bit of a massacre, really, in the end, Andreas.
Like Nottingham is just so weird. Like they really are weird. I was starting to think like, okay, it's going the right direction. They got a draw with us. They won. I don't remember who they beat, but they won a match last time in Premier League. So yeah, I was like, Nottingham is starting to go the right direction, and then they lose this. And I'm not even sure where Blackpool is playing. But no matter what, it's a match that Nottingham should win, and I think that's really the problem with Nottingham, that nothing changes. Like they start to get the right direction, but then they lose stuff like this, and I don't know with Nottingham. Like I'm worried that they won't survive. I think it's going to be really difficult for them. And yeah, it's like Blackpool. It's a great win, surprising win, but yeah.
Oh my god.
Can someone explain to me why the guy he has the time to text this, but he is not here? It doesn't make sense, and it's never going to make sense. Abu, have you watched Ronaldo play yet? Is he doing good in Saudi Arabia? I want to know that. I want to know how it's going for Ronaldo.
Warren, Blackpool, Nottingham
Yeah,
Forest.
if you look at Forest and you see they beat teams like Liverpool, they can hold Chelsea, they can beat Southampton. They're doing well. They can beat West Ham, and then you get to the FA Cup, and this is a chance for them to have their hands on a silver medal trophy. And to being massacred like that, I mean, I would say they lost because Dean Henderson. So I don't know. I just think that he's great. He's great for the team, and whenever he doesn't play, they don't win. So it's kind of sad. I hope that this doesn't deter them going forward. They're out of the cup now, but hopefully this loss gives some fire into them going into the next match. Um, in the Premier League. So now you can focus everything on the Premier League. And I would like for Forest to stay up. I enjoy watching them play. I just hope that this loss doesn't crumble them, rather, and that it humbles them and gives them, that firepower that they need to just surge forward, because they've got the gusto. They've got, how many players did they sign? 23 players in the last transfer market. They've got a lot of players.
Yeah.
So it's just he needs to figure out how to utilize them. I think he changed the squad again, and that's maybe what caused the problem.
Do you guys think Nottingham can solve this problem with getting more players in this window? Do you think they can solve the problem with signing more players, or do you think that will not really change anything?
I think they need to sign a forward and maybe a midfielder.
I don't think they need to go crazy with the transfers this time, because they signed so many people last time. So I agree with Harry. Maybe a full-on striker that's permanently going to be in the squad and play, and maybe a stronger holding midfielder that's just going to keep them at the core like strong, and then get your other players that you signed and utilize. So find out which pockets to fill and utilize them, because they've got the squad. They've got one of the biggest squads in the Premier League right now, or even in the FA Cup. They've got one of the biggest squads. I mean, there's 23 signings plus the current people that were there. I mean, it's difficult maybe for him because they're all new to the club. You don't know what's going on with the injuries, but he needs to find out in the training time who fits in way better, complete the puzzle, and play those people. Because this mix and match and playing different people just to give each person some time on the pitch so that you don't feel excluded is not going to work. You've got Emmanuel Dennis on your bench every time. You don't start him. He was a star for Watford, so why sign him and then don't use him? So there's these questions there's some question marks when it comes to the management of Forest. That is just maybe one of the reasons why it's inconsistent.
Fair enough. We will move on. The other All Premier League tie saw West Ham beat Brentford. Not really too much. Well, maybe a little bit of a shock considering Brentford's form recently and how well they've been doing.
Yeah.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think it's a shock. I think it's a pretty big shock, to be honest. West Ham has not looked strong. Brentford looks strong. Brentford just beat West Ham in Premier League, and then they go out and West Ham win. Again, it's difficult to talk about because it's FA Cup. It's not the biggest thing, but it still matters, of course. But it's not like a Premier League match, and it's still very early in the competition. So people are not using, or teams are not using their best squads either. They will wait for that until quarterfinals and semifinals and final. So it's difficult to talk about how much this actually means for West Ham going forward. But it's still a win, and they move on. And if we get to a situation where West Ham wins, what is that? Conference League? Conference League, I think. And they win this one, FA Cup, but they get relegated. I think that would be the most crazy scenario ever. Or just win one of those titles still getting relegated. That would be so crazy. But the reality is that it's possible. Like maybe West Ham is not winning this one, but it's possible for them to win Conference League because they are one of the bigger teams in that, and it's very possible for them to get relegated. So it's just, we can really end in some very, very crazy scenario with West Ham this season. But yeah, they run and they move on, and that's great. I don't even know who they are facing. But I guess when they can beat a Premier League team like Brentford, I guess they have a good amount of chances in the next round at least, depending on who they face. And yeah, with Brentford, it's frustrating for them. I think it would have been great for them to move on to really show something in this tournament, and I think they had the potential to do so. But at the same time, I think it's good for them to just focus on Premier League and get as high up as possible. So yeah.
Fair enough. Warren?
Yes, shocked that Brentford lost. Good for West Ham. I think this is exactly what they needed. Just to, inject some passion into that team again. I think Ben Rama is West Ham's best player right now. I don't believe I've seen anything great from Bowen other than a penalty that he took once. His really is fizzling out from last when he was the main player. But I think Ben Rama has been their star this season, and they need to hold on to him. I would say maybe they got lucky with this one, but it's a win that they needed. It's not just about a Premier League. It's not a Premier League game, but it's still a win. It will give them. It will instill confidence in them going forward. They haven't been winning a lot of their matches except consistently in the Conference League, and I've said it earlier in the podcast episodes that West Ham's priority is with the Conference League. I don't, because there's not a shot in hell that they're getting to the, maybe they'll get to the top off, but I don't see it. Um, they I think they battling just to stay out of the relegation, but all of their focus is on that. If they go through, they went through to the fourth round. I don't know who they're facing next. If they manage to win that game, I don't foresee them winning this cup title. I don't think they're gonna win it. There's just too much strong competition out there, and they've shown that they can crumble to smaller teams in the past. So might have been just that Brentford had a bad day and West Ham capitalized on it, because winning 1-0 against Brentford that says a lot, because Brentford nobody scores. Great for West Ham. Hopefully this gives them that surge that they need to move forward in the next matches.
They are facing Derby County in next round. So, whereas Derby County, they are in League One, one of the best teams there. So it can go both ways.
It could be a tough game for them.
It could. Very, very, very cool.
There was a huge upset then with Division 1 Championship side Sheffield Wednesday beating Newcastle 2-1. Honestly, I think Newcastle had it in the bag, but kind of blew it, really. They had chances. As a Sheffield lad born and bred, I am very happy for this, obviously, but but a huge shock to say the least. Chris Wood had a brilliant chance to kind of level things up and take it to at least a replay. Joe Linton put it on a plate for him, but he just put it over the bar somehow. But Sheffield Wednesday were very, very clinical, and their keeper made some great saves as well. Warren?
Yeah, I watched bits of the game. It was on and off. We was busy having dinner time that the match was on, so my focus wasn't entirely in the game. But I did watch the highlights. I do. Sheffield was actually they were very clinical, in my opinion. They created and they took the game to Newcastle. So I'm not surprised that they got goals in. I just didn't expect Newcastle to. I wouldn't say they flopped, but they dropped the ball a little bit. Could be that Eddie Howe didn't put his strongest team up there. And that's my question again. Why do the managers do that? Because they don't view the FA Cup as that important. But if you want to win a title, you need to put your best squad in there. Almiron was on the bench. There was no St. Maximin. I don't know where Callum Wilson was. So
he was ill, I believe.
Excuse me?
He was ill, I believe.
again. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's sad because I like Newcastle. I like watching them play, and they're one of my favorite teams right now. My guilty pleasure teams to go to. Like if I can choose a game to watch, I'll watch a Newcastle game. But they didn't have Pope in the sticks. Like it's just for me, it was the squad wasn't good enough, and I think they underestimated Sheffield a little bit, and they got their noses handed to them. So uh, yeah, it's a sad day, but congrats, Harry.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think Newcastle dropped the ball here. Like Sheffield Wednesday is a pretty good team, looking like they are getting promoted to Championship. Um, so um, so a pretty strong team. Um, but Newcastle dropped the ball. They absolutely did. They should have won this. But like that can happen sometimes. Like it sometimes big teams lose it, and that happens to everyone. So it happens sometimes. And again, if you don't have the best squad in the match, then it's clearly easier to lose. Um, but I do think Newcastle made a weird move with this and not having the best squad. I think that's wrong because I think Newcastle had so much potential to win this entire tournament. And let's be honest, they are probably not going to win Premier League. They're doing great, but they are probably not going to win. Will they get to Champions League? Very possible, but they are not winning the league. So therefore, I think it's like I don't know if they're still in Carabao Cup, but they are.
They're
Okay.
facing Leicester.
Okay, so they have a chance there, but no matter what, I think it's a mistake by Newcastle to not have their best team here. They had a lot of potential to win it all, and now they just make it even easier for teams like United and Tottenham and Brighton, because Newcastle will have been favorites in my opinion, if they were still in. So yeah, they made a mistake, but they still have Carabao. They still have to fight for Champions League. So I guess it's fine, and it's nice to see a smaller team like Sheffield Wednesday move on and beat a team like this. This much means so much for their momentum and their morale. So yeah, great for Sheffield.
Just to kind of make a point on that, I think it's hard when you're competing on multiple fronts and the fixtures are coming thick and fast. There's fixtures every 3 days.
Yeah,
Barely have time to breathe. Like, it's tough on players. You have to rotate the side at times. You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be able to keep going in 4 different competitions at once. It is nearly impossible to be able to do that. And so you have to kind of prioritize competitions at times. You have to kind of say, what's most important, top 4 or FA Cup? I have to kind of weigh everything up, especially when they've got a Carabao Cup quarter-final during the week.
True. I agree with that. But I do think
it's hard when there's fixtures coming every 3 days to kind of be able to keep going with the same players the whole time.
Yeah, of course you need to make changes. There's no doubt about that. Every team has to do that, especially when you're in more competitions. But I do think Newcastle could have found a way to make changes, but still winning this match. Again, Sheffield seems like they're doing great, but let's be honest, it is Newcastle. They could have found ways to have a stronger squad that could have won. But I agree, of course, they have to make changes. Every team has to do that. But Newcastle could have found the right way, if you ask me. But they didn't, and now they're out. And maybe that's the best. They can focus more on not on Champions League, not yet. They can focus more on Premier League, and they can focus on Carabao. And Carabao could very well be the trophy that they win. So yeah.
We'll move on.
Well,
don't worry, Warren. You know it's going to be much worse for me. So don't worry.
I know, but let's just get it over with.
Wolves took the lead early against Liverpool and made them pay, and then Darwin Núñez equalised. Darwin has finally scored, Warren. What's going on?
I don't know.
And then Wolves pulled it back to 2-2, Hwang Hee-chan, but Mo Salah equalised late on. Wolves did have a chance to level it up to win it all late on, but they were offside, I think. And talks that Salah's goal may have been offside. Those two goals, Salah's second goal and the Wolves' disallowed goal, they're very controversial. There was no VAR, but what's your thoughts, Warren? I know obviously you'll be a bit biased as Liverpool fan.
No, I'm not biased. I'm not going to be biased at all. Not at all. I'll be blunt. Liverpool played crap. We just put it in bold CRAP. We were SHIT with 3 exclamation marks. Because you know what, Nate? What pisses me off as a Liverpool supporter is that I don't even want to watch our games anymore. Because it's that anxiety driven for me. Like I don't want to watch it anymore because I don't expect quality on the field. I don't. And I know going off course here, but as a passionate Liverpool supporter, I don't even know where you see. I'm not even wearing my shirts on the podcast anymore because it's that bad. We urgently need injection in the midfield. That's where the problem was this whole night, and the mistakes that were made by top class players in this match. Goalkeepers like Allison passing the ball nonchalantly to a Wolves player and then they're scoring. If he did not do that, Liverpool wins the game. It's as clear as day. But I don't want to focus just on the negative. Gapco started. He got an assist, which is great for him. He played well. He played well. It was nice to watch him. Trent is doing better defensively. He's doing better with the passing. He's getting back to form again. So that's nice to see. Did Wolves deserve to win? I would say yes, based on the game. And there was 2 controversial goals. That is the talk of the town right now. The Mohamed Salah goal at the start of the second half, and then the third goal that was disallowed by Wolves by VAR. So VAR was in action, just they couldn't find a clear, obvious error in the offside, and so they didn't give the goal. But now, like the only good thing that I can take out of this game is that we've got a chance to redeem ourselves in the tie, in the tie next week. So, but the problem that I've got with this whole thing is we still need to face Wolves again. We still need to face Wolves twice in the Premier League still. So it's just like, it's like, you know what? It's just, I'm just gonna be blunt. Wolves deserve to win this game. It is as plain as simple as that. And it hurts me to say it, but it's the truth. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything, and I'm not gonna be, oh yes, because trusting club. No, nope, none of that. They played piss poor, and it wasn't nice to watch. And we got lucky. You even said it in the chat. You guys got away with that one. So yes, we did get away with that one. Fix the mistakes, go back stronger, and then face Brighton. That's it. But Wolves deserve to win it.
What about the goal, Salah's goal? Do you think that was offside?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not sure. So it's going to be unfair for me to say. It's difficult. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It looked like it was okay, but I think from what I was watching on the highlights, they kind of said that as per the laws, it's not offside, but it's one of those that is very kind of, you don't know why it's okay. It's just so, the offside rule is just so confusing nowadays.
It is.
But it's the same thing with the like we discussed with the Manchester United game with the handball rule. For me, it's like it's weird. It's a weird rule, and something they need to look at. It's something they need to look at because there's all these gray areas that you can point to now and say, okay, but this is okay, but this is why it's not okay, or this is why it is okay.
Andreas?
Yeah, I didn't watch much of this game, but I think like just when it comes to offside rules, I think it's just another area where it's really difficult, and there's just too much of like stuff involved in it. Like I remember in the World Cup, don't remember what match. I think it was Argentina France, where one of the goals were offside, or maybe it was not offside. I don't remember, but there was a situation where something was allowed to be a goal because one of the French players' spot was not offside or something. It was something crazy where it like how does this make sense? Like it has nothing to do with you being ahead of or anything. And it's the same when it comes to your hand. Like if my hand is offside, what does that have to do with my entire body? Like I understand if it's your foot, but when it comes to head and hands and stuff like that, I don't get how that stuff can be offside.
Your shoulder.
Yeah, but that I get it when it's foot because the foot is the one you are running with, and then you have an advantage. But when it comes to the other stuff, it's weird, especially when it's a butt. Like that's just such a weird thing. So yeah, it's offside rules as well as I think I said it last time with penalties and stuff like that. I'm just so tired of it because it seems like they really don't have control of what's going on. And it comes to these crazy situations where people are arguing: is it this one? Is it not? The refs need to be better with that. So yeah, it's what it is. But with the game, I didn't watch much of it. But I think honestly the worst situation in this is that it's a draw for both teams. Like I think it would be much better for both teams if they just either won or lost, because now there's another match they have to focus on.
I would have preferred it if it got to penalties and they said
Yeah,
it like that.
yeah,
Why would
agree,
they, especially when I think Harry mentioned it in the chat. It was like, why with the fixtures, especially the Premier League, why with the fixtures being so congested, do they still have to do a replay now?
Yeah.
And it's just another match jammed into another week now. It's crazy.
I absolutely agree with that. It should just be penalties because we already talked so much about the teams not really thinking much about this tournament. So why are we making it even more difficult for them when they have to do another match of a tournament that they don't really focus that much on? It's just creating this way too much chaos. So yeah, penalties will be a really great idea instead of this, because at the end of the day it sucks so much, but reality is that it's probably better to lose than have to do another match, and that's just not how it should be. Like you should always want to win. So yeah, penalties will be great. And I think with Liverpool, as great as I think the Gakpo signing is, I think we come back to this situation where the midfield is just not strong enough, and that is a problem. Like, and just looking at the result here with 2-2, Liverpool scoring 2 goals against Wolves shows that Liverpool is good at the offense. They can score the goals. Do they have trouble sometimes? Yeah, they do, but they can score the goals. But when you let Wolves, that has been so bad offense-wise, you let them score 2 goals against you, it shows that there are some problems defensively, and especially with the midfield. And I think that's what we get back to, that Liverpool, especially with midfield, need to do some signings. Because I feel like offensively, I think the team is strong enough. Can you always make a few more signings? Yeah, you can. But I think the team is good enough. Midfield-wise, there really are some problems, though. And yeah, I think that's what we see here. Wolves, not the strongest team. They are going the right direction. It's starting to look good for them. But in general, they have been in trouble. So not great for Liverpool. But it is what it is, and they have a chance to win next week. So, but yeah, also just quickly with Wolves, this is a good result for them. And they should be happy about it. But again, it makes it very difficult that you have to do another match, because Wolves squad is not the biggest squad in the world. They don't have the much depth, so it's tough, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. We'll move on. Aston Villa got shocked by League Two side Stevenage. They were knocked out. I believe they even had a red card. They were down to 10 men in this one.
Yes.
A huge shock, Warren.
Yes. Then Donker got a red card in stoppage time. And then that resulted in the penalty that was converted, and that winning penalty got the win for Stevenage. Villa, I've been so proud of Villa for the last couple of weeks. I think Imre has been doing great things for for them as a club. They've been, but they just couldn't. There have been so many changes during the match as well. It was the first time that I've seen them play so weak under the new manager, and they had the lead and then they squandered it, and that's not like Villa. Villa tends to, when they get the lead, they hold on to it, even if it's a draw. So them losing their heads at the end, it's kind of like a shock. It's sad to see them leave the competition, but like you can't make the tackles that them Donker made in the penalty box, and expect to get away with it, especially in stoppage time. Just leave it. It might not even the pass might not even convert to a goal, and then you go and risk it like that, and there's your mistake. But yeah, so congrats to Stevenage. It's bad for Villa in terms of the FA Cup, but hopefully this doesn't blemish them a little bit. It doesn't deter them because they have the momentum.
Yeah. Andreas?
Yeah, I still have a lot of trust in Unai Emery. I do. I think he's going to do great things for the club. But I am starting to get a little bit disappointed. And I already said it last time. And this match doesn't make it any better for me. It's not a good result for them at all. And again, it's the FA Cup. Does it really matter in terms of momentum? Does a little bit, but I'm not that worried about them in Premier League yet. But no matter what, it's not good losing this match, and he needs to get it together for Villa, because I think there's a lot of potential there. So Unai Emery need to do a little bit better soon.
Fair enough. And we do have to get on to. We've been waiting for this all episode.
I can already feel what's going to happen.
Sorry.
I know you've been dreading this all episode, Andreas. Manchester City 4-0 against Chelsea. Andreas, thoughts?
So you guys know that tomorrow I won't be available, and that's why we're doing it on Monday. And the reason for that is that I'm going to Norway. And it's mostly because I'm going to beat up Holland, because I'm so angry about all
I
this.
thought you were in
Holland didn't even score.
It doesn't matter. We all know that Holland is such an important part of that team. And I'm
I
just
think
so
you should
angry
be
about it.
beating up Mahrez and not Haaland.
But he's not from Norway. And I am actually going to Norway. So I can't do anything about that. And I don't hate Mars the same way that I hate Holland. So it is what it is. But like what is there even to say about it? It's terrible. It sucks. It's so frustrating when we were able to get a pretty decent result against them in a Premier League, and then this happens. So I don't know. There's not much to say about it. I was luckily not able to see the game. The happiest day in my life that I was not able to see that very terrible show. I don't even know. Like we talked about earlier about Warren said something about every time he sees something, it's Chelsea trying to sign a player. And I get it's a little bit too much, but at the same time I do get it. Like it's not working, and a lot of players is injured. So I have my Captain America shirt on here in hope that the American owners will sign some new players for us. So that's what I hope for. Like what is there even to say? City is the better team. It didn't work for us. It's time to really think about Potter. Is he the right man? I know Warren doesn't think he is, and I still think he can be, but it's not working right now. And it's a difficult situation, because at one point he needs to get the time. Like if it's ever going to work, he needs to get the time. It's the same with any other manager. They need to get time. Look at Arteta. Did that work in the beginning? Not at all. He's making them champions, maybe. So you need to get time. But there also is a limit to how much time you can get, and 10th place is not good enough. It's not good enough at all. And we are in a situation where beating Fulham is not I'm not confident in that, and that is a huge problem for us. So it's not good, and I'm starting to get worried. I am. So I really hope for a lot of very good signings very soon, because there are some problems. Will that do anything? I don't know, because at this point I'm not even sure where the problem lies. Does it lie? I still think the team is not mentality-wise strong enough. I think there are some problems there, but I also do think there is a little bit of problem with Potter not making it work. So it's difficult to say. There's a lot of problems, and it's difficult to really say what the main problem is. But yeah, it's frustrating because 4 goals is too much, and it's even worse that we are not scoring at all. And that has been the problem for a long time now, that we are not scoring the goals. But on the other hand, we have been okay in midfield and defense until this match happened. So it's not good, and City is just doing a great job. And again, without Holland, like, is there like, I remember we talked about it when he joined, that Holland was such a big part of City, and they will be in trouble without him. And I don't think they will. I think they will win this season, no matter if he's there or not. And I still think they will. Even if he got injured tomorrow, I still think City will win the Premier League this season. So yeah, it's just a really strong team, and we are not even close to them. So yeah, is there even anything else to say about it?
And Warren?
Yes. It's just shocking because the previous match it was 1-0.
Yeah.
So I was just shocked to see this result. Mahrez loves scoring against Chelsea. He scored in the Carabao Cup, scored in the Premier League. Now he scored this match. Alvarez, he scored in every competition that he's been part of now for City. Chelsea, for a team like Chelsea, it's just not good enough. If smaller teams can hold City, it's shocking that Chelsea cannot do it. I was wondering where was Mendy, because he hasn't really got much playing time.
I think he's injured or something.
Yeah, he is injured. He is injured
Again.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of question marks about Chelsea. This game wasn't the Chelsea that we are used to. So yes, like you said, there's a lot of problems in City. You can't allow City that much of a in. Not at all. But I guess it's back to the drawing board for Chelsea. I don't believe Potter is. I get what you're saying about the time. I actually agree with you. A manager needs time, a new manager. However, he knew what he signed up for when he took over from Tuchel. It's not like he started the season with Chelsea and now they're giving him amples of time. He took over at the time where the club was in flux. And it's his job to fix everything. The Potter needs to put you back together again. That's how the song goes. So, does he need time? Yes, he needs time. He needs a lot of time with the squad, figuring out what. And now with all these injuries, it's not working for him. However, with the current state of football in England and all over the world, not just England, what the World Cup happening smack dab, not even in the middle of the thing, and this resulting in the fixtures being 3 days apart. He doesn't have that time, unfortunately. And it is reflecting badly on him because he took Brighton to very high heights, but he's not doing it at Chelsea. And and the thing is, Chelsea is a bigger club than Brighton, so they expect more. I do believe they fired Tuchel for the same reason that Potter needs time. I believe they fired Tuchel too early. It was too early in the season to fire him. They should have given him more time. They didn't even give the guy a chance to turn things around. They just said, look, okay, then we're done with you. Potter. Next day, Potter signed, and it was just this big conundrum. And now Brighton is flying, and Chelsea is struggling, and it's shocking to see this. So there's a lot of questions for me personally, as a overall neutral. I don't want to speak bad about Potter. I just don't think he's the right fit for Chelsea. Maybe any other club he would do well at, but not Chelsea. It's not working. It's not working. He doesn't know who to play. He doesn't know the formations to play. It's like a mixed match every time. And then when he gets everything sorted, he gets all these injuries. So it's difficult. I get it. It's just that you don't with Chelsea or with a team like Chelsea, you don't have that luxury of time. You don't.
I think it's hard when you have the likes of the players that you have injured, likes of Chilwell and Reece James, for instance, who are key and central to everything Chelsea do down the wings. As wing backs, you have the likes of N'Golo Kante, who's a huge loss. Sterling is injured now. Pulisic is injured. They are missing a lot of creativity. That is, but then again, you do have to say, where is their striker? They don't have a recognised striker.
Maybe
Fofana is coming in, talks of them going straight out on loan. Aubameyang got subbed off, came on and got subbed right back off again during the week.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that there are reasons to it, and there's a lot of injuries. But like, I don't get more happy about not getting to Champions League because I know we have injuries. That doesn't change the fact that we should be in contention for Champions League. And that is the problem right now, that there can be a lot of reasons, but it doesn't change the fact that we are 10th in the Premier League, and it's not good enough. So no matter what the reasons are, it's not good enough. And I completely agree with Warren that like Potter, he do need time, but that's not a luxury you can get, especially not as it is right now. If he can get us to Europa League, maybe Conference League, then we can talk about it, but we can't end in 10th place. It's just not good enough at all. And if we end where we are right now, he needs to be sacked. There is no argument about that. But I do think he needs time. And I do think a lot of the best managers right now, like Klopp, Pep, Arteta, all of those guys, they are working because they did get the time. So I think he needs time, but we also need to see results. And it doesn't matter about that. Like, you need to see results, of course. So yeah, it's difficult. And yeah, again, agree. We need an attacker. Like, that is a huge problem. But even if we had an attacker, City still scored 4 goals against us. So that's what makes it so difficult, because there's a lot of reasons for it. We need an attacker. A lot of the players are injured, sure, but there's still some problems that should not be there. And again, with an attacker, City will still have scored 4 goals against us. And yeah, you also said with Sterling and Pulisic being injured. Yeah, they are injured, but they got injured in a match where we got 1-1 with Nottingham. That's a match we should have won, and they were a part of that match. I think it was against Nottingham, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they went off on against City.
What is it? Okay. So fair enough. They were a part of the Nottingham match then, and still could not win. And the only match we have won since the break, since the World Cup break, that's against Bournemouth. That at the time looked like a great win for us, but looking at it now, it's not really a big win. It's just Bournemouth being really, really bad. So like, I can think of a lot of reasons and this, but it is really not going very well for us right now. So yeah, but I hope for the best, and I do think there is a good squad there, and I do think there's potential to be some great signings this window. So I do hope for the best, and I do think Potter can be the right one, but I don't know. I need to see it, and right now it's not looking great. So we are still better than Spurs, though. I still think we are better than Spurs. That's what makes me great or happy.
We will quickly have a look at the fixtures coming up. We have the final third round game tonight, which is Arsenal versus Oxford. We'll talk about that quickly first. That should be a pretty comfortable win for Arsenal, boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even their second team should be able to get an easy result here.
Yeah, definitely. They've got the manpower on the bench even to get a win. I would be shocked if Oxford gets a win against Arsenal. That would be shocking, but crazy things have happened. But my bet is on Arsenal to win.
I don't think there can be any argument about against that. I think the only thing can be that a lot of the Premier League teams has not really performed, and a lot of the underdogs has been surprising so far. I think that's the only argument you can possibly have against Arsenal losing. But that has nothing to do with Arsenal. And looking at how Arsenal has performed, I don't see it changing in this match.
Then we go into the Carabao Cup tomorrow night with United, Charlton, and Newcastle, Leicester. Should be an easy win for United against Charlton. Newcastle, Leicester will be interesting. I think, if anything, the Sheffield Wednesday game kind of showed that there's a lack of strength and depth in Newcastle. That outside of their strongest 11-12, they do not have options. So I guess it depends on what kind of team Eddie Howe puts out. You'd imagine he'll play a stronger team since they played a weaker team against Sheffield United Wednesday on the weekend.
Yes.
But then again, they do have the Premier League coming back this weekend. I can't remember who they're playing off the top of my head. Warren probably knows.
I'll check now, hold on. I haven't checked the fixtures yet, but I'll check quickly. Fixtures. Game week 20. Newcastle, where are they? Are facing Fulham on Sunday.
That could be a tough game. They'll have
Really?
Fulham will have Mitrovic back. Oh no, they won't. Yeah, they'll have Mitrovic back.
Yeah, because Mitrovic can't play against Chelsea on Thursday.
Yeah. Wow. Shit. Fulham is going to have a lot of matches then. Damn.
So yeah, should be comfortable wins for United, you reckon, against Charlton boys?
Yes. I think Charlton is it's at the bottom of the league where they are in. So depending on who Taylor puts up, but United has been strong.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna do well.
I feel like United are rotating the squad well as well. They've managed to kind of keep a lot of guys out. And I would expect Lisandro Martinez to come back in now against.
Yeah, it would be the perfect game for him to come back in now.
Charlton is 12th in League One, so they are mid-table. But it's still like United is winning. Like I would be sure.
They should win comfortably, realistically. Newcastle versus Leicester tomorrow night as well.
Yeah.
I think we're anticipating a comfortable enough win for Newcastle.
Yeah, this is kind of like a rematch of the previous Premier League match that they had, where Leicester completely dropped the ball.
Yeah,
I think without Madison, Leicester is going to suffer against teams like Newcastle that press, and I also agree with you. I think Eddie Howe is going to put, Almiron will definitely start this game. St. Maximin will play probably. If Chris Wood will play, so I think this will be the stronger version of Newcastle that we'll see, and they'll probably go for the jugular on this one so that they can get to the semis.
Yeah. Andreas?
Yeah, I think Newcastle is winning, but I do think it's going to be an interesting match. I do think Newcastle is a team that if Leicester has any chance, they will do their absolute best in this match. Will it be enough? Probably not, but I do think Leicester will give it their all in this one. But yeah, Newcastle is the stronger team. But again, like looking at them losing the last one to Sheffield Wednesday, I think it would be fair to have a little bit of worry against, like, will they still use their best team? But I think they will, and I do think they are too strong for Leicester to really have a chance. I think we lost Harry.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here.
Sorry.
Forest versus Wolves, battle of the sides of the bottom. Wolves will have a bit of momentum from the draw against Liverpool. Will it be enough, though, against Forest, do you think?
Depends on who they play. It depends on who's playing for Forest. Put Dean Henderson in the goal, and
I think Forest will probably play a stronger team. I think they will.
Yeah, so
I don't know who they're playing on the weekend, but they will likely.
Interesting one to watch.
I think it's at home for Nottingham, right?
I'm
Yes, I
not
believe
sure.
so.
I, I have Wolves winning. I think Wolves has been stronger the last couple of games. Again, it's kind of going the right direction for them. But I think Nottingham has a chance, especially being at home. But I do have Wolves. This is before the Liverpool match, right?
This is before the replay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have Wolves winning. If Liverpool had been before, I think Wolves would have been way too tired. But it being before, I think Wolves has the advantage. With that said, though, I could see Wolves trying to have a weaker team here, so they have a stronger team against Liverpool. And I do think if
Um,
Wolves don't have their strongest team here, then I think Nottingham will win.
Wolves
But
have a Premier League game in the meantime, though.
yeah, they're facing West
They have to
Ham.
play on the weekend against West
West
Ham.
Ham.
wow,
They have 2 games before the Liverpool match.
yeah.
Liverpool only has 1 match before
Okay,
the
like
replay.
that. Yeah. But I do think if Wolves had one match where they have a weaker team, I think that it will be this one.
So he's going to have to make a lot of rotation to that team.
Exactly. I do have Wolves winning, but I think it will be a very, very close match. I think it will be the closest of these 4 matches.
Fair enough. Southampton versus City. City should annihilate Southampton realistically.
If City don't win with more than 4 goals, then I'm going to retire from watching football. That would be terrible. Like, I've talked so much about how bad Southampton are. So if City don't destroy them, then I don't know what to do.
Just keep in mind that last season Southampton held City twice in the Premier League. So I think City's winning, but I'm not counting Southampton out, especially with these smaller cups. I'm not counting them out.
Yeah.
So it
Southampton
was a
will have a
Premier
bit of
League game.
momentum from beating Brentford as well.
Yes. So I wouldn't count them out yet. If this was a Premier League game, I would have said maybe not, but maybe they're going gung ho for these small titles now. So, and it depends on who Pep puts in because they just played on Sunday. So
That is a very fair point. It is. I will
if he
say
plays
though,
Cancelo and those people, I mean, they haven't been great. So um, let's see what happens. But I do think City is winning this one. But Southampton has the ability to hold them. They've proven it in the past.
I will say that Southampton last season was much stronger than they are this season. But I do agree. I think that's a very solid point that it's the Carabao Cup, probably the least of the 3 tournaments. So City will very likely not use the strongest team. So I think it's a very solid point that Southampton do have a chance. And if Southampton goes to the semifinals in this tournament, that will be really, really great for them. And a shock to me. So yeah, I have City, I do, but yeah, Southampton could make a shock, but I think City will be levels ahead.
And then Fulham versus Chelsea on Thursday. The one thing going for Chelsea is that Mitrovic is banned for 1 game. Some small relief. Can Chelsea get this? Fulham are ahead of them, so I guess it would be an upset of sorts if Chelsea were to win, but Chelsea are the bigger team. What's your thoughts on this, Warren? Quickly.
I actually predicted when I did my betting, I said it was going to be a draw, 2-2. I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, yes. So it's going to be 2-2. However, Fulham beating Hull City without Mitrovic and Chelsea having the squad that they've got right now, if it doesn't end in the draw, I think Fulham has the edge. Sorry, Andreas.
That's fair. I get it.
Andreas, as the Chelsea resident Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I get what Ron is saying. I get it. I do have it being 3-1 to Chelsea, but I know that's crazy. I know it's crazy. But I think the thing for me is that Fulham, when it comes to defense, I don't think Fulham is that strong. I think Fulham has a very, very good squad, and I think offensively Fulham is a threat. And I think a big part of that is Mitrovic. without him, they still have a very, very strong team. But I do think when it comes to the defense, I do think teams will have a chance against Fulham. The problem just is that Chelsea, the only thing we can do, that's score goals. So 3 goals will be crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, when I look at the squad, I think there's potential there. I think if the players go out and have their best match ever, I think we will have a very, very strong team. I think Mount, I guess he's back. He was a big part of the win against Bournemouth. Ziyech, I think Ziyech, if he gets allowed to play, he can do a lot of stuff.
Probably starting.
Yeah, Havertz, I think can do something. I do think there's potential there, but I know 3-1 is crazy. But I'm going a little bit bold with that, and I do think we can win. But I'm not confident at all. It can go both ways, and it can also end in a draw. But it's difficult. It's really difficult because I feel like we have the team to do something, but it has just not worked the last couple of games, and that's what makes it so difficult. Because like, what's going on? The squad is good, mentality is not there, but the squad is good. I think the formation Potter has used the last couple of games is the perfect formation, but it's just not working. So it's difficult. So it can go either way, and I do think Mitrovic not being there will be a huge problem for Fulham. But again, they still have a strong squad, a very strong squad. So it can go either way, and it can end in the draw as well. It's very, very unpredictable in my opinion.
Fair enough. We will quickly move on to the predictions game. Just a recap of Friday's predictions. Andreas thought stupidly that Chelsea
you can't say stuff like that, Harry. You're the host of this. You need to be impartial. You can't say stuff like that.
And he thought Ericsson would get a goal or assist. He got no points for either of those. Warren said United to beat Everton. He got a point, and Bournemouth to beat Burnley. He didn't get anything. I said Middlesbrough to beat Brighton. I got nothing. And Cody Gakpo to get a goal or assist versus Wolves. I got 1 point for that. We will move on to this week's predictions quickly. Andreas, your predictions?
I will say, first of all, if Ericsson was playing for Brentford, I would have got a point. So it's just United being an annoying team. No, what is it for Carabao?
Carabao Cup and the Fulham game, I guess.
Okay,
We
so
can include the Arsenal Oxford game as well.
Yeah, Oxford Arsenal.
I'll get the games coming up now on the screen.
Thank you. That'll be great. There we go. Mount is going to score against.
Please, yes, please, for my fantasy team, do it.
Yeah, Mount is going to score. I need to get him in fantasy actually, but anyways, I'm talking about the game now. What else? It's difficult.
Yes, predictions now, Brie.
It's difficult games. It's really difficult games. If he was talking to Brie, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
About whether it's predictions now. Come on, Andreas. You've had
Newcastle will have a clean sheet.
Fair enough.
Okay.
And what's your second?
Mount will score against Fulham.
Isn't Mount injured?
No, he's back.
No,
he's
he
back.
played on.
Harry, keep up. Don't make an apple. Don't make an apple. Keep up.
In the FA Cup, he came off in like 60th minute or something.
Let's go, Chelsea. Brie understands what's going on. She
Warren, your predictions.
Shit. I'm just gonna say Arsenal to win by 2 goals.
At least 2 goals. Or specifically 2 goals.
There will be 2 goals scored by Arsenal.
Fair enough. What's your second?
Okay.
With a win, okay?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And
so at least, so they can win with 4 as long as they score 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to go the easy route with United, so I'm not gonna go there again. Freaking hell. This is difficult. Wolves to win against Forest.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sorry, Forest to beat
Wolves to-
Wolves to win against Forest.
Wolves to win.
Wolves
Okay.
beating-
Yeah.
Okay. I will go the other direction, and I will say Forest to beat Wolves. And I will say Rashford, Marcus.
Need Hector on here.
Get a goal or assist versus
Oh,
Charlton.
Charlton.
Goal or assist. Okay.
Okay.
Watch Forest versus Wolves end in a draw, and none of you are getting a point.
Don't put that in the universe. Chelsea's gonna, just because you said that, Chelsea's gonna tank.
No,
on
don't
Thursday.
say it, Ron. Don't say it. I thought we were friends.
So Andreas said Newcastle clean sheet and Mount to score against Fulham 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
So 3 for Mount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Because he hasn't been scoring.
Yeah.
Warren said Arsenal to win by 2 and Wolves to beat Forest 1 and 1 or 3 and 1.
Arsenal is the one for sure.
Okay.
The other one.
Wolves to beat Forest. That could go
I
either
think
way.
that's- What?
That could go either way, so I would say 3.
Yeah, let's go 3. I think that's fair.
And then the same way I did with Harry's one. Then that's
Yeah.
also a 3.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Marcus 1.
Yeah, because he's definitely gonna score. Just watch him
If
not
he
be in
is
the team.
playing, if he is playing though, he needs to play first of all.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to go with saying players. That's why he's gonna get an assist whenever, because you don't know if they're gonna play.
Bree, make sure you screenshot your predictions, Bree, so that we can tell you on Friday whether you're right or not.
Yeah.
That is it from us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back on Friday. Safe travels to Andreas as he heads to Norway. Don't miss us
Leave
too
Holland
much.
alone.
Say it again. What did you say?
Stay away from Holland. You don't want to
He's in
get
England.
out of jail.
He's in England, so if I'm going to Norway, that's probably the least
He's
place he is
funny.
right now.
Say hello to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for me.
I will do so. I will.
Ali.
Wait, Abu wants to join apparently.
No.
Oh
We're
my
done.
God.
We're
Yeah.
done.
Time's up. Sorry, Bree.
Yeah.
It's already been an hour 43 minutes.
How can you join it? Like, how can you say that right before we end? We have been on
I'm
for
just saying
almost
that's what
2
Bree has
hours.
said. Bree has said Abdus is coming and he wants to join.
No. We have been on for almost 2 hours, and it's
Exactly.
first now
He's
that
had
you
2 hours to join us.
It's
Anyway,
crazy.
thank you everybody for watching. We will be back on Friday. Safe
Yeah.
travels, Andreas. Thank you everybody
Thank
for
you.
watching. Stay safe.